Hey girls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today is going to be the start of a weekend reading vlog. Today is Thursday, October 12th. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th, which just strikes me as like the perfect occasion to center a weekend reading vlog around because I'm reading horror right now. I'm currently really enjoying both of my reads. I have some great reads planned, lots of horror books that I'm just so excited about. And you know, it's kind of crazy. I don't want to rush things, but it's almost halfway through October. So the books that I've been saving, I'm gonna start picking them up, pulling them out. I'm thinking also maybe reading Schrader's Court, I think. Maybe getting that out and reading it this weekend as well. But I am currently reading two horror books that I'm really enjoying. The first one is September House. I've talked about this one at length and I think a couple of vlogs now, but I am really enjoying it. I'm about 70%, 80% of the way through this one. It's about a couple who moves into a house that is very, very haunted, and our main character does not want to move because this is her house, and even though blood drips down the walls, there are creepy kid apparitions, something horrible in the basement, this is her house and she doesn't want to let it go. So that's the first book that I'm reading. Some really good haunted house horror there. And then A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. This one is about a food critic turned cannibal, and she's kind of like narrating her tales of what she has done to land her in prison. So two great horror reads that I'm really enjoying. Today is, it feels like fall, so that's why my voice is like a little bit gravelly. Just every single time when the seasons rapidly change within 24 hours, it just kind of messes up like all of my sinuses, allergies, all of that for a couple of days, but I'm feeling good. Just don't sound the best. I'm absolutely feeling good at the, like, it's drizzly, it's cloudy, it's 60 degrees outside. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. So really excited to kick off this fun weekend of horror reads. And yeah, I have a little bit of work to do today. I also have to go to the library, drop off some books, pick up some more books, so those also could be reads that I might pick up during, I almost said readathon, just weekend. It's just a casual weekend reading vlog, probably spanning from today, Thursday, until Sunday night, just because, you know, Friday the 13th, I want to celebrate. My partner's gonna be out of town for a conference. My friends that would like celebrate in like a horror way either live out of state or are busy, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to celebrate. I'm thinking of watching some of the Friday the 13th movies, obviously reading some good horror. I don't know, maybe I'll like bake something or make something like very autumnal as well. But I figured it'd be a good weekend just to really focus on reading as much horror as I can. So I figured, you know, with Friday the 13th coming up, why not just center a spooky reading vlog around it? Because quite honestly, I occasionally run into this trouble when it comes to my October TBR where I'm saving books for Halloween, and I don't like end up getting to all of them because I like want to push them off to the latter half of the month, like the ones that I'm super excited about, and then I never end up finishing them all by the time October ends. So also I think this is a good excuse to actually read a bunch of horror before October ends because, you know, I do read horror year-round. I love horror year-round. It's one of my favorite genres, but I will say there is something a little bit magical and a little bit fun about like the entire bookish community, for the most part, like all reading horror, all reading like Halloween adjacent books, whatever that means to them. So it's very fun just to be reading one of my favorite genres during the month of October. So that's what we're gonna do. Try and read as much horror as we can, relax, watch some good movies, read some good books, just immerse ourselves with the Halloween spirit. But that's pretty much all I have for this introductory clip. I'm hoping to finish one of these today, so I'll probably update a little bit later in the day also once I have my little library haul, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Work, go to the library, watch a horror movie, read a horror book, and you know, get ready for Friday the 13th tomorrow. So welcome to the vlog, ghouls and gals, and I will talk to y'all a little bit later with another reading update. Happy Friday the 13th, friends. It is just the most wondrously glorious, gray, kind of rainy, 60-degree weather outside. Took the dogs on a walk and it smells like fall. It's the perfect Friday the 13th. I am just looking forward to my little reading plans, my little watch-a-thon plans later tonight. Last night, surprise of all surprises to no one, I started and finished an audiobook that wasn't necessarily on my TBR, but one I have been looking forward to reading, and that was Everything the Darkness Eats by LaRocca. And you know, I had high hopes for this one, but I also had like tempered expectations because I've read some things by LaRocca before and I've really enjoyed some parts but not all parts. I think the biggest thing I read was like a short story collection where I really loved some, didn't really care for others, so I was curious to see like what a full length, I think this honestly was like a novella because I think the audiobook was only about 4.5 hours long, but I was curious to see what a full-length novella would be like, and it was all right. It was very interesting. The setup was interesting. The promise of the story unfolding was interesting, but the ending just kind of went in a direction that I was like very confused about, and just didn't necessarily care for, with like the strong building up of a story that felt like it was going one way, but it was an enjoyable read. I mean, I did get the ALC listening arc from Libro FM, I think 2 months ago now, so I'm trying to catch up on those, and I thought this was a perfect, you know, scarier story to listen to, and it definitely was. It was a little bit eerie listening to it via audiobook. I don't know, it didn't necessarily click with me. I don't think Eric LaRocca's writing style necessarily clicks with me all of the way. There are some things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I did find that the things that I had noticed in the writing that I had read physically didn't bother me as much in terms of audio. So yeah, I'd still check out something by this author though. I don't know what it is. I don't know, I'm like intrigued to read more because Eric LaRocca always comes up with like the most interesting concepts. Definitely there are concepts where I haven't heard other people like doing similar things or in like the same style. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing because sometimes those really big risks work, sometimes they don't. But I did finish it, so that was the first book I finished this weekend. I have a little library haul to share with you all. 2 books, 2 that I am very excited to dive into. Maybe one or both of them I'll dive into this weekend, but the first one is Edenville, and this is by Sam Rebeline, and this one, first of all, R.L. Stine blurbs this as a major new talent, which intriguing. I think it's a haunted house story. I'm not too sure, but it does say that this is a wildly entertaining debut novel from an exciting new voice in horror for fans of Paul Tremblay and Stephen Graham Jones. So I think this is maybe, I want to say like a Southern Gothic. I'm not sure. I remember hearing about this before it came out at the beginning of the year, putting it on like lists for me to check out later, like for my library and just on my TBR, and so now I finally have it, intrigued to read it. The next one I think is sort of like a Celtic myth or an Irish like mythology folklore story, and that is Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. And this one, I believe Neil Sharpson's actually like yep, he lives in Dublin, so I'm intrigued to read this. I also might see if there's an audiobook for this one because listen, I am Irish American, like very Irish American. I have been taking Irish on Duolingo, which has been very, very challenging, and I've noticed the characters' names in here are Irish names. So like we do have, I mean, we have like names like Betty, which I know how to pronounce Betty, so I might have to do some like research like while I'm reading this one just to make sure I'm pronouncing all the characters' names correctly. So that'll be a fun little challenge, but also I might want to see if I can pick this up via audiobook as well, just because hopefully the narrator would have like an Irish accent that would really add something to the story, because again, obviously I'm very American. So it might add a little something to the story if I have an Irish audiobook narrator reading this to me and, you know, describing everything and pronouncing everything the way it's supposed to be pronounced. So I'm very much looking forward to these 2. Might pick one up this weekend. We'll have to see. I have at this point in time finished Friday the 13th, first movie. It was okay, it was good, not great. I don't know if it's a spoiler to say, like, in the year 2023 that it's crazy that Jason actually doesn't appear in the first one. I think that's very interesting, so I'm gonna be moving on to the second one. And yeah, I'm gonna spend a night of, I think I'll probably I do have like an hour or so left of work. Unfortunately, I still do have to work on Friday the 13th, even though I think I should have it off. So I'll probably, you know, wrap that up and then, you know, probably alternate. I'll probably watch a movie, read a little bit, watch a movie, read a little bit. It's gonna be a fun time. I have a list pulled up of all of the Friday the 13th movies in order. So yeah, I'm very excited for the weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tired. My heart is so happy that it's finally feeling like fall, especially on Friday the 13th. What a wonderful day to finally get some fall weather. But I am going to go get some work done, and then I'm going to go watch some teenage camp counselors meet their devices, one movie after the next. So yeah, I will talk to you all in the next reading update. Okay, so it is now Saturday. I had a really good, really laid back Friday the 13th. I watched the first 3 movies. I think the first and the second were definitely a lot better than the third. The third is very strange and is dated very much so because it was filmed for like 3D, and there are a lot of 3D effects that just like don't translate well, and just like you could tell that they were really showcasing what 3D could do. Like there's this one scene, like an extended scene where kids are juggling, kids are like doing a yo-yo like bit. So yeah, and it was just like a little bit goofier than the first 2, but I've watched 3 of the Friday the 13th movies. I definitely passed out after the 3rd one, so that's why we didn't get another update yesterday. But my weekend, my rules were absolutely going to keep watching as many Friday the 13th movies as I can, because I have never seen the franchise before. If you can tell by my shirt, I am definitely a Nightmare on Elm Street person, but and I think I'm still gonna be a Nightmare on Elm Street person, just in terms of Freddy v. Jason. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself, and I also finished a book in between watching those movies last night. And that book would be The September House by Carissa Orlando. I love this one. It is the perfect blend of like haunted house story, mental health as allegory, but also real haunted house story. Like the demons and the ghosts are not just like an allegory for mental health. They're actually there. So yeah, this was like darkly funny at times. It's pulled on your heartstrings at times. Some scary moments as well. Do not go in the basement of this house. But yeah, I ended up really loving this one. It's definitely one of the best haunted house stories that I've read in a really long time, and I felt like it took a lot of tropes and really like turned them on their heads, just in terms of like dynamics of who would stay in a haunted house and who would leave, and you know, why would someone stay in a haunted house if you could tell it's clearly haunted. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the conversations, the really nuanced conversations about mental health and just toxic relationships. Obviously this author, her background is in psychology, so that makes a lot of sense that was done really well here. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, so feeling good. Finished 2 books this weekend so far, and we're gonna keep the ball rolling. We're gonna keep watching some more horror movies. We're gonna keep reading some good horror books. Like I've mentioned before, I have 2 books up on the docket, Edenville and Knock Knock Open Wide. I'm very excited for both of them, and I think to decide which one that I am going to read next, I'll probably do like a try chapter. I'll probably read the first chapter of both of them and then just pick up whichever one I'm more invested in. Yeah, we'll see. So definitely going to be reading one of these. Who knows, maybe both, because I'm in such a good reading mood. I've been really enjoying the books that I've been reading. It's just, it is fall outside. I took the dogs on a walk this morning, and it was so cool, so crisp. The air just felt like fall. So yeah, definitely feeling all of the fun autumnal horror vibes. But yeah, let's get this Saturday started. started going to figure out which of these books I'm going to pick up next. Start in on Friday the 13th part 4, which I think is called like the last chapter or something. Clearly they wanted to end it at that point. I think it's not just titled Friday the 13th part 4. So yeah, we're gonna go watch that. We're going to find a good book to read and just have a really good Saturday. Happy Sunday. I got to, I think, Friday the 13th part 7 last night, which, you know, they're slowly, I will say they're not like slowly devolving, like where each one is worse than the last. It's kind of uneven. Like, for example, I think 6 was better than 5, I think. They're definitely not all like blending together. They have like some differences. It's not all just camp counselors going to Camp Crystal Lake again and again and again. They try and have different plots. Some are more successful than others. Some are more explicit than others, not even in terms of gore, but in terms of adult content. Let's see, I think my least favorite so far was the one at the like mental health institute. That was just a house. That one was a hot mess, but I ended up liking the one Jason Lives. I think has been one of my favorites of the series, which wild, you know, you get to like part 6 in a franchise. I think it's part 6. I'm not sure. We'll talk about them all at the end of the vlog for sure, where I have my phone and I'm looking at all the titles, but the one where he gets reanimated, that one was honestly like very intentionally funny, unintentionally funny, and a little bit scary as well. So I did enjoy that one. And then like I'm currently on, I've finished most of the one where it's like the main girl, I'm guessing the final girl, has telekinetic powers. So my Friday the 13th weekend watch along has been going very well. Just me and the pups just watching some good old-fashioned slashers, and I am currently in the middle of 2 books. I think I forgot to mention that I am still reading this one, A Certain Hunger. I'm enjoying it. It is like a very cynical. I'm now in chapter 5 of this one. It's very cynical, very scathing, and it has some very very enjoyable quotes. I'd be interested to check out more from this author, but I am enjoying this one. And then last night I did start Knock Knock Open Wide. I had to put this down because it was freaking me out. I don't know if it was because I was getting so immersed with like an ambiance and it was late at night and I was just reading like by myself with my dogs, or if like my mind had already been primed from watching so many horror movies as well. Or, you know, it could just generally be like a scary book. This was creeping me out. I had to put it down, which doesn't usually happen to me, which is so exciting because I've been looking for books that I can say that about. But yeah, I'm really enjoying what I've read of this so far, but I had to wait until it was daylight to start it again. So I'm on page 52 of this one, and I'm looking forward to reading this today. Definitely in the daylight. I don't know, maybe we'll try and dive further into it when the sun sets, because the sun's setting earlier and earlier. But yeah, this is freaking me out. Like the beginning of this, one of our main characters, Attain, there's two different like points of view stories in here, and one of them is in the 1970s, one is in the 1990s. So it starts out with our main character, Attain, driving home late at night. There's mist everywhere, there's fog everywhere. She encounters something horrific, and that was just like really freaking me out. So yeah, I'm enjoying this one, and I will give like more of a synopsis once I get further into both points of view. It is, I think, in part a family saga, because I think the second point of view is going to be following someone who falls in love with her daughter. So yeah, we have that, and then A Certain Hunger as well. Still going good. I'm enjoying both of these. I am going to be reading a little bit more today. Last night, definitely, just with how creeped out I was getting by the book, and I made some, like, I have some B-roll footage of this, but like some kind of frozen slushy sort of apple cider drinks. So I was kind of, you know, enjoying that. So I've really had like perfect autumnal vibes going on. I had Leaves from Bath & Body Works, my favorite fall scent, burning, and watching some horror movies. So that was super fun. Today I am working. I'm not working all day, so in between like my periods of work, I am going to be watching more movies, reading more books, and I am planning on updating, maybe depending on how far I get through these two books, either one or two more times in this vlog. But I'm really enjoying my time. I'm having a great weekend, and I will talk to you all soon with another reading update. Hey friends, a little vlog update from the living room. I don't normally film in here because just, you know, the lighting situation is not so great, and it's also dark outside. So yes, we make do with what we can. I am currently, there's a dog right there, and then there's a dog like right behind me. There we go. If I move, if I move, you can see Obi's head too. But we're on the couch. We are getting ready to make dinner and watch Friday the 13th. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah, Jason is back, and this time he's stalking the citizens of Manhattan. I'm reading it on my TV. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's like very, very interesting stuff, but currently reading these two books still, like last time. Very much enjoying them. A Certain Hunger is a slow burner. It's definitely, you know, it takes its time building up our main character Dorothy's life, like everything that she does as a food critic and just like as a diagnosed psychopath. It really builds up her time before she actually kills and eats her first person. Not the whole person, just part of it, just the parts that you can make into great food. So yeah, really enjoying this. I'm on chapter 9, which is also titled Banana Bread. Each chapter has a name of a food that is kind of integral to that chapter. Sometimes very concerning. Like last chapter was named Rump Roast, so I'm sure you can gather what's going on there. But I think I'm about like 40%, maybe 50%, but I think 40% of the way through this one. And then Knock Knock Open Wide. Oh my god, god. I'm really enjoying this one. Also, just a correction for one of the main characters' names, it's Aton. I've noticed, like, I've taken very elementary like language classes throughout my time in college and like foreign exchange programs, and then now just like on Duolingo. Irish is, at least for me as an American English speaker, like the least phonetic. A lot of things, a lot of German things, even like a lot of Spanish things and Tagalog things, they're very phonetic. Like you can figure it out if you just sound out the words. Not here. So I am trying my best. I actually have a note in my phone of character name pronunciations because, you know, that's obviously so important. That one's just really throwing me because it's spelled exactly like Elaine, but with a T instead of the L. So it looks like Attain, but it's Aton, I think. I don't know. A lot of pronunciation guides were saying it a little bit differently, but I'm pretty sure it's Aton. The other two main characters' names were Betty and Aisling, so those are slightly easier for me to pronounce. But wow, this is still very creepy, and I'm really enjoying how there are two main points of view, because I think one point of view is going to be primarily what one character experiences in a night of horror, and those parts are so creepy. And then the other half is more of a slow burner, and that's where like the Celtic mythology and like the Irish folklore really come in. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading both of these. We'll see, because it's dark outside now, so I don't know how much I'll be able to get into this one, but you know, maybe finish a book tonight. We're still enjoying our time watching movies, but yeah, I'm gonna go make some dinner, and I'm not tired at all, so I'm thinking I might just stay up a little bit later than usual and just keep watching movies and just kind of relaxing. So I think that's what I'm gonna do to kind of close this weekend out. So there will definitely be another reading update. Maybe definitely not here. This lighting situation, you know, it's not my typical setup for a reason, but yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. And I think watch Bruce over here for a second. I think we're gonna go. Do you want to go outside? And he's at the door now. Oh, would you like to go outside on a walk? Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go do that, and I will talk to y'all later. Okay, good morning, friends. So last night I only made it past Jason Takes Manhattan. I did not like that one. My least favorite in the series so far, and I started playing Jason Goes to Hell. And just wasn't vibing with that either. So I turned it off and kept reading. So I did manage to finish A Certain Hunger, and I did really enjoy this one. Just know going in, the main character is very unlikable. You're not going to want to spend time in her head, but she's going to force you to, and you're going to be fascinated by it. Definitely for fans, I feel like, if you like Criminal Minds, if you like the episodes where they really dive into just someone so intensely like psychopathic and just has a worldview so completely outside of your own in terms of societal taboos, then I think you'll really like this one. It is very slow moving. Dorothy as a character is a psychopath, and you know, she likes telling people about her life. She thinks she is just the best, most important person in the world, and you get her whole entire life story before you start getting to the premise of this book, which is the cannibalism. So know that going in, that this has so much description in a very uncomfortable way. Like every single thing is described as almost edible and consumable, and not even the human flesh in the way you may think, but even like sexual relations and just everything gets described in a very visceral, edible way, and it's definitely interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book like this one. I would hesitate to suggest it to a lot of people because it does get very graphic. Like for the most part, she is killing these men and eating them, and she takes different parts each time and talks about the different recipes that she makes based on what body part that she takes from these men. So yeah, just, you know that going in there, that maybe don't eat this while you're eating, especially if you do eat meat. Don't eat while you're reading this, or do. I can't, control you, but I definitely would not recommend it because it does get very graphic, very gross, but I really enjoyed it. So that is going to be my Friday the 13th reading vlog. I had a lot of fun. I discovered some new movies. Some I liked more than others. I definitely think my favorites of the franchise are number 2, Jason Lives, and New Blood. I don't know, I like it when things get a little supernatural, and I liked the almost self-aware campiness of Jason Lives and New Blood, and I just thought Friday the 13th Part 2 like really retrod a lot of what Friday the 13th the original did, but in a little bit better of a way in terms of character development. But yeah, that is going to be it for this reading vlog. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a very wonderful Friday the 13th. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel for all of the bookish and cozy gaming content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!